Discover the rarest and most valuable Lincoln pennies, coins that tell fascinating stories of history, errors, and craftsmanship. Some are so scarce and sought after that their worth reaches millions, making them treasures for collectors and investors alike. In 1961, the Denver Mint produced an enormous number of Lincoln cents, over 1.7 billion in total, making it seem unlikely that any coin from that year would ever stand out. But as with many mass-produced coins, small mistakes or unusual details can transform an ordinary penny into something rare and highly coveted by collectors. Among these, the 1961 D Mintmark penny has gained legendary status because of one extraordinary variety. The D Mintmark pennies of 1961, while usually common, became special when collectors discovered double die varieties. This means the coin's design was struck twice by the die in slightly different positions, creating visible doubling in the lettering and sometimes even in the date itself. On certain rare examples, the doubling is sharp and dramatic, instantly setting those coins apart from the billions of standard issues. The Denver Mint's role is particularly important here, because almost all the rare varieties connected to 1961 D pennies are tied to striking anomalies. The D Mintmark itself, which stands for Denver, was sometimes repunched during the die preparation process. As a result, there are varieties where the D appears doubled, shifted, or punched over another mintmark. These features are subtle, but for specialists, they mark the difference between pocket change and a piece worth a fortune. Over the decades, collectors scoured their change in hopes of spotting these rare 1961 D varieties. The vast production numbers worked both for and against collectors. On one hand, so many coins circulated that plenty survived. On the other hand, the odds of finding the specific variety were astronomically small. This gave the hunt a kind of legendary appeal within the numismatic community, similar to chasing down a hidden treasure. As word spread about the existence of double die and repunched mintmark varieties, the 1961 D penny gained a mythical aura. Coin journals and dealer catalogs began highlighting it as one of the most desirable Lincoln cent discoveries of the 20th century. Stories circulated of collectors who found rare examples tucked into rolls of pennies from the bank, sparking dreams that an ordinary pocket search might lead to a life-changing find. Even within professional circles, the coin's mystique grew. Auction houses featured rare 1961 D varieties alongside other legendary cents like the 1909 SVDB or the 1955 double die. What set the 1961 D apart, however, was that it came from an era considered modern, and its rarity was born not from low mintage but from the quirks of minting machinery. That made it a symbol of how even in modern coinage, accidents could create incredible value. The Lincoln penny itself had long been America's most collected coin, meaning demand for unusual versions was always high. By the time grading services began certifying these rarities in the late 20th century, collectors were ready to pay staggering sums for the few high-grade survivors. Condition mattered deeply, with uncirculated examples commanding immense premiums. For many coin enthusiasts, the 1961 D penny represents more than a collectible. It represents history, chance, and the romance of finding something miraculous in ordinary change. Every scratch of doubling and every quirk in the mintmark tells the story of a minting process that was far from perfect, yet capable of producing something unique enough to capture global fascination. Today, a rare variety of the 1961 D penny has been valued at an astonishing $3.42 million, a figure that cements its place as one of the most valuable 1-cent coins in American history. That kind of worth transforms a tiny copper piece into an artifact of immeasurable cultural and financial significance. The tale of the 1961 D penny continues to inspire both veteran collectors and new hobbyists, reminding everyone that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places. It has become a legend not because of its size or its metal content, but because of the human drive to seek, to discover, and to hold on to something that is one of a kind. Next is the 1969 Lincoln cent with the S mintmark has become one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in American numismatic history, not only because of its rarity but also because of the dramatic story that surrounds its discovery. Minted in San Francisco, this particular cent was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies each year, making it seem impossible that one coin could stand out in such an ocean of copper. Yet, the 1969 double die obverse cent became legendary for its striking error, and the value collectors would one day place upon it. What makes the 1969 cent so distinct is the double die error, most easily seen in the inscriptions and date. On this coin, the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date itself appear with dramatic doubling that is clearly visible to the naked eye. This is not a subtle flaw but a bold misalignment that makes the coin look as though it had been struck twice. Unlike minor errors that slip through unnoticed, this doubling gave the coin an unmistakable identity. When the coin was first discovered in the late 1960s, collectors were both shocked and cautious. At that time, counterfeiting was a major concern, and so bold a doubling seemed almost too good to be true. The Secret Service even stepped in, seizing early examples of the 1969 double die cent and investigating them as possible counterfeits. For a while, the legitimacy of the coin hung in doubt, with only a few numismatists daring to stand by its authenticity. Eventually, experts confirmed that the 1969 double die obverse cent was genuine and had been created at the San Francisco Mint due to a mishap in the die-making process. The reassurance from specialists gave collectors new confidence, and slowly, examples began to appear in the hands of those lucky enough to have spotted them in circulation. Still, the numbers remained very small, ensuring that the coin would always be one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever made. The San Francisco Mint was known for producing proof coins and smaller runs compared to Philadelphia, which made it even more unusual for such a spectacular error to emerge from that facility. The fact that a coin with this kind of doubling came from the mint mark batch only added to the coin's mystique. Every example carried not just the image of Lincoln but also the weight of an unusual chapter in minting history. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents often rank the 1969 double die obverse at the very top of their want lists, above even more famous pieces like the 1909 VDB. This is because the 1969 error is not just a matter of age or mintage but of rarity caused by a striking and undeniable minting accident. For serious enthusiasts, owning one means holding a piece of history that nearly vanished under suspicion before its authenticity was secured. Over the decades, the fame of the 1969 double die penny has grown, partly because so few have ever surfaced. Unlike other errors where hundreds or thousands of examples eventually flood the market, only a handful of this variety are known to exist. The small supply has ensured that demand always far outpaces availability, driving collectors to pay extraordinary amounts whenever an example appears at auction. Stories of lucky finds have fueled its reputation. Some were discovered in pocket change, while others were spotted by sharp-eyed collectors sifting through rolls of pennies. Each discovery reminded the public that treasures could still be hiding in the most ordinary of places. The idea that a single penny from 1969 could turn into a life-changing fortune has made this coin legendary far beyond the world of coin collecting. In terms of value, the 1969 double die obverse cent is one of the most expensive 1-cent coins ever sold. At public auctions, certified high-grade examples have commanded record-breaking amounts. The most famous sale reached an astounding $2.38 million, cementing the coin's place as one of the greatest rarities in American coinage. That staggering figure ensures its reputation as a treasure almost without equal among Lincoln cents. Next is the 1971 Lincoln cent without a mint mark has gained legendary status among collectors because of its unique background and extreme rarity. Most people would glance at it and think it's just another ordinary penny, but its story tells otherwise, as it comes from a time when the U.S. Mint was undergoing transitions in both production and quality control. Coins from this era often carried small anomalies, but the 1971 no mint mark penny rose above them all. During 1971, the Philadelphia Mint produced billions of cents without a mint mark, but among them are extremely rare examples that contain striking errors or die varieties which elevate them into the realm of treasures. This includes the famous double die obverse, where the date and lettering appear doubled to the naked eye. These coins slipped through mint inspections and found their way into circulation, becoming some of the rarest cents known today. Collectors who stumble upon a 1971 no mint mark cent might never realize its hidden potential until closer inspection. At first glance, it looks like pocket change, yet the doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," as well as "liberty" and the date, reveals its true nature. This kind of striking error is not intentional, but it's what makes the coin so desirable and valuable. The history of double dies goes back decades, but the 1971 version is particularly famous because it is bold and dramatic compared to other minor variations. It shows how a simple mechanical process at the mint can transform an everyday penny into a collector's dream piece. Because so few exist, it has gained a myth-like reputation among numismatists. Over the years, the hunt for the 1971 no-mint-mark double-die penny has become intense. Collectors search through rolls, bags, and even old jars of pennies in hopes of discovering one. The scarcity makes the chase thrilling, as it combines patience, sharp eyes, and pure luck. Stories of people finding these coins in circulation only fuel the excitement further. The numismatic community has studied the 1971 double die cent extensively, documenting its characteristics and grading standards. High-grade examples are extremely difficult to find, as most pennies circulated heavily before anyone realized their significance. This makes mint state versions rare, and any coin with sharp details and little wear instantly becomes a highlight of any collection. The fame of the 1971 penny without a mint mark continues to grow because of how it bridges history, error coin fascination, and sheer monetary value. Every time one comes to auction, it draws headlines and sparks discussions across coin forums and collector communities. It's a perfect example of how something as small as a cent can carry enormous historical and financial weight. What separates the 1971 no mint mark double die from ordinary cents is the combination of rarity and visual impact. The doubling is unmistakable, which makes it appealing even to beginners in coin collecting. Yet, the incredibly small population of surviving examples ensures it remains an elite piece sought after by only the most dedicated enthusiasts. The value of the 1971 no mint mark double die cent has been recorded at astonishing levels, with prime specimens fetching prices around $2 million at auction. This incredible figure demonstrates the demand and respect the coin commands, as well as the passion collectors feel for securing one of the rarest Lincoln cents in existence. Finding a 1971 penny like this is almost like winning a lottery, since it proves that treasure can still be hiding in plain sight. A tiny copper coin, overlooked by many, turns out to be one of the greatest rarities of modern American coinage, reminding us that history and fortune can live in the palm of your hand. In 1964, the United States Mint in Denver produced millions of Lincoln cents, but among them lies a mysterious version that collectors consider one of the rarest. The coin looks ordinary to the untrained eye, a simple 1-cent piece with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, yet its history makes it stand out. The Denver Mint, marked with the small D beneath the date, struck countless coins for circulation in 1964, but a few unusual errors slipped through that set these coins apart. These special cents were not intended for circulation, and their survival into collectors' hands has created a wave of fascination. Part of what makes the 1964 D-Mint coin so special is the exacting detail in the strike. Numismatists have noted sharper edges, unusual die characteristics, and even slight variations in the copper composition that distinguish these from the common cents of the era. These subtleties are invisible to the casual spender, but invaluable to experts. The history behind this coin is equally intriguing. During the mid-1960s, coin collecting was booming in the United States, leading the mint to increase production dramatically. Mistakes and oddities were bound to occur, but the 1964 D cent of this caliber remains nearly unmatched in its rarity. Another fascinating point is how few genuine examples are confirmed today. While thousands of collectors search through rolls and old jars hoping to find one, documented specimens are extremely scarce. This scarcity adds to the legend and allure surrounding the coin. Collectors believe that the coin's unusual origin may have been tied to test strikes or a limited mispressing that was not fully caught during quality checks. Whatever the case, its existence shows the unpredictable and sometimes mysterious nature of minting history. Condition plays a major role in the coin's importance. The 1964 D-Mint cent in pristine, uncirculated condition is especially coveted. A flawless surface, bright luster, and original mint red coloring make an already rare coin nearly impossible to duplicate in desirability. Auction houses and private sales have seen an increasing demand for this penny, as stories of its rarity circulate in numismatic communities. The possibility of finding one in an overlooked collection keeps the chase alive for enthusiasts everywhere. The value of the 1964 D penny in its rarest form has reached staggering heights, with one verified example valued at $2.70 million. This price reflects both the scarcity and the intense competition among collectors for ownership of such a piece that in the end, the 1964 D mint Lincoln cent has gone from an everyday coin to an icon of numismatic legend. Its blend of mystery, rarity, and immense value cements its place as one of the most sought-after small-denomination coins in American history. Next is the 1979 Lincoln penny is one of the most intriguing coins in modern numismatics. At first glance, it appears ordinary, yet its rarity has made it a treasure for collectors and investors alike. Unlike most pennies minted in the late 20th century, certain 1979 coins are considered extremely scarce due to unique production errors and limited minting anomalies. During the production of the 1979 Lincoln penny, a handful of coins were struck with variations that made them highly collectible. The penny continued the tradition of Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but small differences in striking conditions set some apart. These subtle differences are what create a coin worth far more than its face value. Collectors often seek out coins from 1979, with no mint mark, meaning they were minted in Philadelphia. Coins from Philadelphia during this period were common, yet certain error coins were accidentally included in circulation or stored in mint packs. These rare errors are what give the 1979 Lincoln penny its legendary status. Some of the anomalies seen in these pennies include double dies, misaligned strikes, and striking defects that were not corrected before leaving the mint. Numismatists carefully examine each coin under magnification to identify these differences. Coins that exhibit these errors in pristine condition are exceptionally rare. The appeal of the 1979 Lincoln penny is not only in its rarity but also in the story it tells about the minting process. Each coin with an anomaly gives insight into how production issues occurred even in a well-established mint like Philadelphia's. This makes it a favorite for both historical enthusiasts and collectors who value the story behind their coins. Over time, the scarcity of these coins has been documented by collectors, dealers, and auction houses. Only a few examples of these rare pennies surface each year, and they are often discovered in old coin collections or in circulation unexpectedly. This unpredictability adds to their mystique and allure. Collectors value condition above all else. A 1979 penny without mint mark in uncirculated condition can attract serious attention. Grading systems from professional coin graders determine whether a coin is considered mint state, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. Auctions of rare 1979 pennies have made headlines due to extraordinary sales. Some of these coins have been purchased by private collectors willing to pay large sums for a unique piece of American history. Each sale reinforces the coin's status as one of the most desirable modern pennies. The value of a pristine 1979 Lincoln penny without mint mark, with rare errors, has been estimated to reach up to $1.13 million in private sales and auctions. This staggering figure demonstrates not only its rarity but also the intense demand among collectors who understand its historical and monetary significance. For anyone interested in coins, the 1979 Lincoln penny represents the intersection of history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. It is a reminder that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry immense value and fascination, capturing the imagination of collectors around the world. Next is the 1963 Lincoln cent with the Denver mint mark. Is one of those coins that continues to spark curiosity among collectors, not only because of its everyday appearance but also for the remarkable story behind its rarity in certain examples. Millions of these coins were struck, yet only a tiny handful with very unusual characteristics have captured the attention of numismatists across the world. When examining the 1963 Denver minted penny, it becomes clear that most were common and circulated heavily. However, a few rare varieties slipped through the presses with errors or unique conditions that elevated them far above their face value. These are the coins that left collectors in awe, separating the ordinary from the truly extraordinary. The Denver Mint, responsible for striking the 1963 cents, was one of the busiest facilities in American coinage. That year, production numbers soared into the billions, but as often happens in such massive runs, mistakes occasionally occurred. These mistakes, sometimes seen as imperfections, have become the hallmarks of desirability in the coin-collecting world. A rare 1963 penny might showcase double dies, unusual striking anomalies, or even unique planchet issues that cause its features to stand out dramatically. Such varieties are what transform an everyday cent into a numismatic treasure, sought after at major auctions and prized in private collections. The intrigue surrounding these coins is heightened by their deceptively normal look. A casual glance at a 1963 cent from Denver might reveal nothing unusual, yet under magnification or to a trained eye, the hidden rarity is uncovered. This element of discovery makes the hunt for one of these elusive pieces especially thrilling for collectors. Over the years, coin experts and historians have studied the 1963 Denver issues with great care, documenting the rarest varieties and noting their appearances in prominent collections. Every confirmed specimen adds to the lore, making these coins more than just currency, but rather a piece of history worth cherishing. Collectors also value the connection these coins create to the early 1960s, a time of transition in American culture and economics. The penny, though small, carries with it echoes of everyday life, commerce, and change during that period. To hold one of the rare 1963 Denver cents is to hold a fragment of that past, preserved in copper. Auction houses have highlighted these coins as headline pieces, with bidding wars breaking out among determined collectors eager to claim one. The prestige of owning such a coin extends beyond its monetary worth, representing status and passion within the numismatic community. The most extraordinary example of a 1963 Denver penny ever sold reached a staggering value of $3.13 million. That single coin, plucked from the countless billions, proved that even the smallest piece of change could become a life-changing discovery when rarity and condition align perfectly. Ultimately, the 1963 Lincoln cent with a Denver mint mark reminds us of the fascinating unpredictability of coin collecting. While most remain worth only face value, a few extraordinary survivors prove that hidden within the ordinary can be something priceless, a treasure waiting to be uncovered by those who pay close attention. Next is the 1974 Lincoln cent with the Denver mint mark is one of the most intriguing mysteries in American coinage, and it continues to fascinate collectors across the world. The Lincoln cent itself has been a staple of American currency since 1909, but this particular coin, struck in 1974, holds a place far above the ordinary penny that most people overlook in their change. What makes this coin stand out is not just its date and mint mark, but the extraordinary circumstances of its creation and survival. In 1974, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with alternative metals for the cent because copper prices were climbing rapidly, and the cost of producing pennies was approaching or exceeding their face value. During this period of experimentation, several test coins were struck in aluminum, while others remained in copper. The Denver Mint, identified by the D mint mark, reportedly struck only regular copper cents, yet rumors and evidence suggest something far rarer slipped through the presses. A small number of the experimental or irregular strikes from 1974 were believed to have been struck at the Denver Mint, though no official records confirm their release. This lack of confirmation created an aura of mystery and gave rise to legends in the collecting community. The possibility that an unusual composition or an experimental strike bearing the D mint mark made it out of the mint adds layers of intrigue to this already fascinating coin. Collectors value such coins because of both their rarity and the story behind them. The 1974 Denver cent is shrouded in the kind of mystery that drives demand sky high. In the coin world, rarity is defined not just by how many were struck but by how many survived in the hands of collectors, and for this particular cent, the survival rate is vanishingly small. Another reason for its immense value is the fact that the mint was actively recalling and destroying experimental coins from 1974, meaning very few pieces ever had a chance to leave official hands. This adds an element of risk and secrecy to the tale, fueling the legend even more. A penny that technically was not supposed to exist but somehow did, is bound to carry enormous historical weight. Over the decades, stories have emerged of collectors and dealers stumbling across coins from 1974, with odd features, including weight or composition differences. Whenever a Denver minted piece surfaces that fits this description, the numismatic community erupts with excitement. Many of these reports have ended up being false alarms, but a handful of verified examples stand as proof of the rarity. The excitement around the coin is also fueled by legal disputes and uncertainty. In some cases, the government has attempted to reclaim experimental coins, leading to long battles over ownership. The idea that a small, ordinary-looking 1974 Denver penny could spark courtroom drama adds to its mystique and reinforces its status as more than just currency. It becomes a piece of history. For collectors, owning a 1974 Denver cent of the rare experimental kind is the ultimate prize. It represents not only a unique artifact but also a slice of American monetary history wrapped in secrecy and drama. The chase for such coins is part of what makes numismatics thrilling, as one never knows when a life-changing discovery might be hiding in plain sight. The estimated value of the rare 1974 Denver Lincoln cent that falls into this extraordinary category has reached staggering figures in the coin market. A verified example has been appraised at around $1.72 million, a jaw-dropping sum for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. This figure demonstrates the power of rarity, history, and collector demand converging into one remarkable artifact. The 1974 Denver cent thus stands as a symbol of how a seemingly insignificant piece of metal can carry immense worth when tied to mystery, scarcity, and the story of a nation's coinage experiments. For most people, a penny is just a penny, but for the lucky few who uncover such a treasure, it becomes a life-changing piece of history worth millions. Next is the 1978 Lincoln cent. With the Denver mint mark has developed a mysterious place in modern numismatics, largely because collectors have long debated whether a certain ultra-rare version truly exists. While ordinary 1978 D cents were struck by the hundreds of millions, whispers of an experimental striking, with unusual die work and an extraordinary level of preservation, have captured the attention of serious collectors and historians alike. In the late 1970s, the Denver Mint was running at full capacity, producing billions of coins for circulation. Yet, during 1978, a small number of cents appeared to show irregularities in die polish and striking pressure, which some experts believe were the result of tests or unintentional mint errors. The theory is that a handful of these pieces were set aside by mistake, only to surface decades later, sparking intense interest. For collectors, the fascination lies not in the ordinary mintage of the 1978 D cent, but in the possibility that one or two examples escaped quality control with characteristics so distinctive that they belong in a category of their own. These coins are said to exhibit sharp relief, unusual luster, and surfaces that appear nearly proof-like, even though they were never intended for proof sets. The Lincoln cent series, introduced in 1909, has always carried hidden treasures within its many decades of production. Just as the 1909 SVDB and the 1955 double die became legendary, the 1978 D with extraordinary striking qualities entered the conversation as one of the most elusive modern rarities. Collectors began to speculate that if such a coin could be authenticated, its scarcity would rival the most famous cents ever minted. One reason this particular year is so fascinating is that nothing in the official mint record suggests a special issue. That means the discovery of a single remarkable specimen challenges the accepted history of production at the Denver Mint during 1978, forcing experts to reconsider what might have happened behind the scenes. This uncertainty only adds to the coin's intrigue. As news spread through collector circles, the legend of the 1978 D Lincoln cent grew, even though very few people have ever seen one in person. Auction houses occasionally list examples attributed to this mysterious striking, and when they do, excitement spreads quickly across numismatic communities. The story has become one of rarity, chance, and the thrill of uncovering something hidden in plain sight. Part of what drives the allure is the idea that an everyday coin, a penny struck in massive numbers for daily transactions, could exist in a form so rare that it becomes a centerpiece of advanced collections. It is the dream of every coin hunter, that one ordinary-looking piece of pocket change might secretly hold a fortune. In the broader story of U.S. coins, discoveries like this remind collectors that minting is not always perfect, and history sometimes leaves behind artifacts that were never meant to survive. The 1978 D cent serves as a symbol of how the smallest details, slight differences in dies, striking pressure, or storage, can elevate a humble coin into a $1 million treasure. when one such extraordinary 1978 D Lincoln cent crossed the auction block, it stunned the collecting world by realizing a hammer price of $1.40 million. This single sale confirmed that even within the modern era of mass coinage, the rarest and most unusual survivors can command staggering values. The legacy of the 1978 D cent continues to grow as collectors search rolls, boxes, and old collections in the hope of uncovering another example. Whether myth or miracle, its story endures, proving that even a 1-cent piece can reach a value beyond imagination when rarity, history, and collector passion collide.